Which digital aspects right now, and I'm sure this is probably always changing, are you more bullish on to increase decentralization, to maybe become, one of the currencies of the future? If we take it that far, maybe not that far quite yet. But what do you see? You're doing this every single day, you're in this space. What do you see that are some of the digital assets that you see, and what are the benefits of them that potentially some other assets don't have?
Yeah. So that's an important question. So there are over 23,000 digital assets out there right now, specifically fungible tokens, cryptocurrencies, that sort of thing. So that's not even factoring in other use cases such as real asset tokenization or even NFTs necessarily. But to that point, there's a lot more than just Bitcoin. But at the same time, not all of these 23,000 plus currencies are going to, last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, what have you. So thinking through that, there are a couple of ways to look at that. So to your question, I mean, in order for any of these to have some real legs to them, some staying power, they're going to be needing to solve a use case, a practical use case, right? So, for example, there's the use case of store of value that especially Bitcoin has become very popular as a store of value. Comparatively, there may be other currencies out there that could do a better job of being used for high frequency, low volume transactions, like going and buying bread at the grocery store. You may not want to wait 5 or 10 minutes until the transaction has finalized because you're on your way, right? That use case may end up being solved by one or more other cryptocurrencies, digital assets. There's also the use case we were mentioning earlier of decentralized file storage, where there may end up being more kind of a specialized type of use case there. So thinking through it, I mean, I think a common analogy is to the dot-com boom and to the subsequent, unicorns, $1 billion+ companies that came out of that, where you have, for example, you'll have, say, within the social networks category, there are a couple that have really carved out a niche, or within the search engine category, there are, a couple, but it's largely, one that's really dominated, right? And I think that will likely continue to happen in the crypto space as well, where there are kind of broader market categories where there will be a couple of different key players that have carved out smaller niches in those general categories. And then the rest may not have as much staying power. So that ultimately probably means that at the end of it, that a very significant portion of the market will end up being dominated by, let's say, 100 or so players.